Four. Lads, so David, you're the only one that missed this. I've been faffing around this week, and I thought what we'd have a look at is explore what I've figured out. This is all stuff that I can do on the bouzouki, lads, without thinking about it, and I can probably teach it much better on bouzouki. It's basically what's the word? I've played music for so long, I haven't used this expression. It's basically when you sort of swap keys to another in your head. So you keep the capo in the same place. Transposing.
Transposing.
Okay, so let's say that we're in D here. Okay, so I know that my A minor in D, I know where my A major is. All agreed, it's the number 5 chord. Now I know that you know, and this is how it kind of works in a weird way, and it's not weird, it's quite simple really. That is my A. That's my A position. If we take away whether it's major or minor, and it's up on the 7th fret, and that is precisely why when we put the capo onto 7, it's A. Stand to reason, lads. Yeah. Nice. Neither major nor minor. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you got a tune in D first. And then you go, let's say the next tune is in A minor. Most of the tunes for trance stuff is in A minor. Okay, nice open sort of sounds there. But let's just say I wanted a different sound. I was thinking to myself as a creative individual, you know, I want as many different ways as to colour A minor as possible. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave the capo down here, and I'm going to treat this as the new root. Okay, so this becomes the new root, and it's basically a minor number 5 chord, if you will. Okay, makes sense to everyone. So instead of major, there's that gap there. So, and we're treating it, and this is the trick, like it's in a modal scale, D. So our chords for the modal scale. So they're the chords that we need to know. Now that obviously now is turned into our root. Let's turn the root chord back up to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you, and we're going to run through the chords. So, Sean, how's things, buddy? So we're going to. Where's my fucking controller gone? Right, here we go. Right, okay. So we're going to go from nice and simple down to here. Okay. So just going to get those 4 chords in there. Remember, lads, most songs, most tunes, just 4 chords a lot of the time. Sometimes just 3. Okay. So here's the first one. That's it. You know all of these chords, lads. All these chords you should know. That's your number. That's your C chord there. If anyone's confused about that, it's the one we use for Spancel Hill. That modal tuning when it's in the D. That's your nice simple number 4 chord, and of course number 1. Now we're not going to be labeling these these chords as we know them as the 1 and the 4 and stuff. They're going to have different labels, and I'll confess I have not figured it out yet. I haven't actually thought about which ones they are. I appreciate anyone who wants to tell me what they are. That's absolutely fine. For me, again, it's just, as you guys well know, it's all a feel thing. But it's definitely, so we're going to go. I'm going to change it because I think it might be quite nice if we went to this one and then to the D and then the C. That's better. I like that. It's a bit more sort of Oasis. D. C. Niall, using that little finger whenever you want, mate. To get that nice top sound. So look at what I'm doing with the little finger. They were a couple of passing chords. Okay, so all I'm doing to embellish it is I'm just thinking what the scale might do. So I'm putting that into my riff. So I'm going, you know, I'm putting 2 fingers here together, lads. You can split it, do that old railroad chord, or you can put them together, which is really nice. And then I like to put that little finger here a lot of the time. Just love that. It's so nice, that. And then obviously putting the index finger to determine. That's really nice. And that little finger can then change to the top string. So you can actually make a little bit of a sort of voicing, if you will, or you know, a slight melody inside the chord. So I'm just holding that chord, and I'm choosing to just using it's just a bit of creativity on the chord. So you then can see that it's got an enormous potential. I mean, that's, you've got, you know, it's sort of starting to sound like very much like a. Got to be careful we don't go into sort of Nickelback territory of singing. But you know, you have got the ability to sort of back a tune like that, very Lunacer-esque. Now, just I always call this sort of thing Adam's sort of progressions, because Adam was one of my first guitar students for the thing, and it was and it's the that ability to just, you know, just do little nudges on notes very simply. I'm doing hammer-ons there, obviously, but it's no different really to what you'd be doing with your little finger here. So these are the lockdown, and this is the one that can move a little bit. You have to have a little bit of muscle power for that little finger to do its work. And you might find that with a bit of practice, well, a lot of practice will help make that stronger, so it can do its work there. But then you can. What's great about it is that instead of going up, which is what you would do if you were here, let's just get that into perspective. So here I am, gone up to 7. One more time. So 2 capo positions, same key, different vibe. And what is beautiful about that is that you don't get stuck into the same the same sound. Your sound is, it's the whole, going back to the analogy of being an artist, you are not relegating yourself to just using the same brush and the same colors all over again. Do you see what I mean? So good thing to go. Who's unmuted? Go for it.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, Todd, that this is where I feel like you were saying earlier, so maybe not entirely clear what to call the chord positions now, but this is where I actually find that the chord positions we've been working with are really useful, because if you kind of just switch around to thinking of this as a number 1 chord position.
Yeah.
Instead of being up here, there with the capo, and that's easy to kind of see and look down at the guitar and see it as a number 1 chord position, and that. Whereas, yeah, I found that when I started messing with Dadgad's guitar, this is kind of how I played, and this became the number 1 chord position.
Yeah.
And then it's just a case of working out the mental gymnastics to like figuring out all the rest.
Mental gymnastics, I love that. Yeah, no, that's exactly it, David. So it is hopefully what's going to happen with you guys, and it's some of you it'll happen and some of it won't happen at the same time, but it's a twig moment in your brain where you just go, it's interchangeable. Do you see what I mean? And you suddenly realize, I understand how this thing feckin' works, you know? And using that as an example for the A minor one is a good one, because it really does. But let's have another think about it, because it doesn't have to just be A minor that we could do this with. What is another, if we, these chords, if we just go with the 3 chords that are essential that we looked at when we first did it, we've got this one, What is the next essential chord? It's 4, isn't it? Yeah, it's 4. Okay, which is G. Okay, we know it's G. We can figure it out it's G because it's on the 5th fret. And if I say to you, lads, the next tune's in G, as I've told you many times, and you know, we should be starting to learn this, G is on the 5th fret. So it makes sense. Do you see how the connection comes there? That's the chord, and that is where the capo is. So without the capo, with the capo, badly put on by myself. Okay, so let's actually look at it like this now. So we've looked at it for A minor up here. You can definitely do A major, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not good enough yet for that. I can do it on bouzouki, but I haven't figured it out, so you'll have to forgive me on that. Honesty before policy, lads. Or is that right? Policy, what? Fuck it. But the point being is that this one, so I'm going to take that little finger away. Let's just see if we can actually all figure out together. There's your 1, 4, 5 right there, lads. Okay, so 1. 5. 4. 5. All we need is our relative minor. Now, it's probably going to be this one. Yep. It's a nice way of doing that. So you could do it. It's basically, if we were in the realms of playing in D, it would be the number 2 chord. It's E minor. But there's a nice way of doing it, just so you know. It's barring here, barring dad. So you bar dad with your index finger on the 2nd fret, lads. And then you put your middle finger down on the A of Gad. That's a nice way of doing it. And let's go to the 4. Don't have any confusion, lads. Remember, number 4, all of these chords, apart from this E minor one here, which is just a slight different one to this, we're just kind of improving that number 2 because it needs to be a bit more stable, a bit more solid for the progression. But that's the only one that's new. Every other one is the good old C there, lads. Nothing different about that, yeah? I'm putting my fingers together here, lads. I find it sounds a bit nicer, so you can do a nice little progression down, lads. Let your imagination kind of flow away with you. Watch this. Badly played, but you get the idea. That's a nice way of doing it. So I'm just using my imagination again, which all of you have got. So you can just think about how that's another way of doing it there. That's a lovely chord there. So now for me, that chord's lovely. And I just feel like it wants to just sneak up that one note there. So I just do that with my little finger. Very poppy. let's unmute and have a chat about that. So, anybody not understand any of that? You know, comprehension, or we all, even if the pieces aren't fully there, we all understand roughly what's going on. Yeah?
Yeah.
Very vaguely.
That's fine.
What was the chord shape when you were doing the descending kind of nice pattern?
Yeah, sure. So,
and then the one that just the semitone down?
yeah, well, that's exactly it, Niall. I'm kind of running off the bass there. So it's basically, you know, kind of little finger, but I'm putting in the semitone on the bass down, so that it's
It's just two fingers then, yeah. Right.
And then so what I want us to do is, before when we restart the class for the timer thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of basically playing very steadily in D. And then we're going to go to the G. We're going to go to A minor, all on one capo position. Now, but before we do that, can anyone think about what other benefit we could do by using the capo elsewhere to get different sounds? So, for example, if I said to you, where else could we play D major?
On the 5th fret?
I mean, the right answer, of course, is everywhere. But, no. But so I mean, the thing is, no, I was thinking of a different fret specifically, and then you said 5th. So you can definitely do that. That would make it D minor, if I'm right to do that. Because let's think about where the D would be. The D's up here. Agreed? The high D. You ever confused? Think about, you've got your low D here and you've got your high D here. That's where the bar is, lads. Yeah, that's where always think about where your bar is for that. So that's your high D. So I'm gonna go with what Niall said here. Okay, so that's our number 5 chord when we're playing in G. It's the double dot, lads, if you're looking for it on the guitar. It's the double marker, it's the 12th fret. Niall, the thing is, here we are. So we're up on the 5th. Now, exactly like we were with the A minor down with the capo, this is going to make this a D minor if we're going to play it in the same progression we did before. Agreed? So
yeah.
Now, how to make it major? If we want to keep that bar. Who said that? Who said that?
Yeah.
Good man, Niall. Exactly it. Everyone understand the thought process there?
Yeah.
Because we can do what we just did with the G down with the capo off. It's easier now because the frets are closer together. This goes even further, lads. It goes even further because that means that we can really think about where we're going with it. So let's just say, for example, hang on a second. Okay. That's it. Lovely. So it's a different voicing. In fact, actually, Mick, can you we're going to do that again, me and Mick this time. We can't play together, but Mick, could you do that same thing there that you just did? Are you capoed up at 7, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. If you can do that again.
So there's the 5 chord or 1 chord, but
Yeah. Can you just
I
drop
play
the camera down a wee bit, mate, if that's okay? Mick. Mick. Mick, come in, Mick. Come in, Mick. Mick, can you drop your camera down, buddy? Just so we can see your guitar a bit better. Sorry, man. Okay. So, Mick, I'll go first on the root. Everyone just watch this, because, I mean, most of you got it, but it's just to help those that haven't. Go for it, Mick. Good stuff. Lovely. Lovely stuff. So just to I'm just going to mute everybody. So I can just show you this last bit. So lads, Mick was doing a different way of doing that chord there, which is totally grand. It's a lovely chord. So instead of doing it this way, I'll go back up to 7 just so I'm sound the same as Mick. So instead of doing that, Mick's doing this, which is a really nice way of doing it as well. So you've got you're still getting that bass to dominate that D, and then instead of the root where that would be for the root for the A, you go 1 up. So it'd be for Patrick, it would be 0 0 0 0 2 0. So sorry, it wouldn't be actually. It would be 5 0 0 0 2 0. And that's actually then quite a nice easy jump to that one. The only thing I would say, you can still do that nice drop there, Niall, with that semitone down with that way. Mick, lovely stuff. So Mick's way. And then my way. Here we are. Mick's way. Still singing in the same key. 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 Okay, let's move over. Let's move over to a new lesson, lads. I will see you in just a second.